related to like software setup and all. So that will be responsibility of different team. Like there will be DevOps team. Then for Salesforce side, Salesforce admin will be there. Database side, database admin will be there. MuleSoft side, either you will do or your environment team or security team, they will do all this setup and all. Okay, but still, like in many company, they don't have this many team member. Like they don't have this many distributed team. So in that case, you need to do many things from here. Okay, so for that purpose, like I given you overview how to do all this setup and things. Okay, in Salesforce part also, as I mentioned, like you don't need to be expert in Salesforce, but you should have some basic knowledge. Okay, even I'm working in one project where I am like integrating from Salesforce also. If I will have zero knowledge in Salesforce, then like for me, it will be very difficult and I will be always dependent on Salesforce team. But since I know many things in Salesforce, so many things I do by myself only. Okay, I don't go for Salesforce team, okay, do this for me. I took access of Salesforce account. I need to see some data or I need to see some fields or object detail. I used to go by myself and I used to check all those things. Okay, so in this way, like you can remove dependency from different team and you will be more effective in your project. Okay, or you can say you will able to deliver more things in like lesser time. Okay, fine. So after that, we seen this functional design document also. The objective of this functional design document, like again, it will not be created by you. Very rarely, like in project, they will ask you as a developer to create that functional design document. That should be done by architect. Okay? In worst case, they will have some template and they will ask you to update that template. Okay, so for that purpose, you should have idea what all things functional design document contain, what is flow diagram, what is sequence diagram, what is API landscape diagram. Okay, how to capture API requirements. So we seen for one API what all things you need to provide, like you need to provide a resource name, you need to provide uh, this request structure. In request, we have four kind of requests, so that you need to provide. Then response detail you need to provide. Okay. A part of that, like we need to provide non-functional requirement also, like logging detail, error handling detail. So all those things you need to provide in functional design document. That's why I shown you that functional design document, how to create. I haven't completed that one, but it's like you can say 60-70% done. I need to add all the API, all the resources. For that, it will take lots of effort. So we will not spend much time there. Hope everyone got idea high level, like how to do and how this functional design document looks like. Okay. And from today, we will start our actual development activity. Like as a 4-5 year of experience, what all tasks you need to do, that task will start from today. Okay. So if anyone has any question till this point, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll start from today's session.
Hi Ravi, a quick question. When you say
Yes.
integrating with Salesforce, we mostly deal with the admin part, right? Like creating objects and all, right?
Yeah. Salesforce part, actually, even admin part, you should not do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There should be Salesforce admin who will do all those tasks for you. But if you will have idea of Salesforce admin, like how to see the object, how to check what all fields that object contain, how to check like what all record exist in that particular object. If you want to see any particular record, how to check that particular record, how to run SOQL query. So if you have that kind of knowledge, then it will add some plus point in your profile.
Yeah, are we doing this in these sessions? How to create an object?
Yeah, so
There
that
will be
part,
some custom. Yeah, there will be
yeah,
some custom objects created, and also we need to create some custom objects, right? How to
yeah.
do that? Yeah, and
Yeah, for that actually we did that particular part in environment setup. Okay, so you need to watch initial video what I will share with you. Okay.
Okay.
So you just need to watch that video. We already did cover this during environment setup.
Mhm. Okay.
And if you will have any doubt, you can join doubt session. You can ask.
Okay. You also covered how we do this API led and sequence for the requirements.
That is covered in functional design document. Yes, that also I covered. So yeah, first you can go through all those video. Okay. And then if you will have any doubt, you can ask. So from today onward, we are going to start actual MuleSoft developer task. As a 4 or 5 year developer, what all will be your role and responsibility that we will cover from today. So let me share my screen quickly and then we'll start.
Ravi, one question.
Yes,
You will be helping us to explain this project in real time, right?
and that is end of our session. Why you want to discuss at this moment? Yes, we'll do that
Okay,
instead.
okay, okay.
At the end of session, I will explain how to explain this project in front of interviewer. What all cross question they will ask, like what all challenge you faced, what was front end, like a source system, what was target system. So whatever cross question they will ask will help you to prepare for that.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, let me know if my screen is visible.
Now it's visual.
Okay, so I will like commit everything in Git. So I haven't given you Git access so far, like, but soon I will give you Git access, and I will create one group also in Microsoft Team. So you query and things you will have, you can use that group to do all the discussion. So that I'm going to do soon. Okay, so today first we will discuss like what all the API we are going to develop at the first part. Okay, so we'll start from Raman, like we'll follow a entire API development life cycle. But before that, let's discuss what all API we will develop. Okay, let me open Draw again. So we'll discuss here.
Ravi, a quick question again. So, what are the systems we are using here? Source
We
and
will use front-end system will be source, target will be Salesforce, database, object store, third-party API.
okay. So, I haven't get that. So, source means is that a DB or Salesforce or
Front-end means either web application or mobile application.
okay?
So initially we will start with registration and logging. So for registration, like what API we will use? So inside customer, we will create inside customer XP API, we will create two methods. Okay. So can anyone tell me in case of registration, what will be method? In case of logging, what will be method?
Get method. Post method. Post.
Okay, everyone put in chat. In case of registration, what method we should use? And in case of get like login API, what method we should use? So everyone put in chat and put in one chat only, both the API. I just want to know like what is your understanding? What post? I ask you to put in single chat. Okay, don't put Millie what you are pasting. Put in proper way. Yeah, I think only Karthik has given proper way. It's not a kind of trivia quiz. Okay, take your time, give answer in proper way, so I will able to understand. Yeah, registration post, login, get, fine. Okay, Vasudev, yeah. That was my expectation. Like for logging, we have to think cleverly. Okay, many people are simply giving get, but
For login, I guess it's a post. So we are giving our credentials.
yes, correct. That your answer is correct. So Vasu, you got this answer, what Kamal has mentioned. Why we should use this post method? The reason behind this, if you will use get method, then you have to pass user ID and password in either query parameter, URI parameter, and those things will be visible in your URL. Okay. If you remember, if you will pass any query parameter and URI parameter, that will come in your URL. Let me show you one example for this. So most of you have given incorrect answer. You used for logging, you used get method, but that should not be get method. Let me tell you a reason. Okay, I will give you one example with you can see here when I am passing this age in URI parameter, in query parameter. So that will come in our URL. Okay, whenever someone will call that API and someone will enter their username password, that username password will be visible in their URL. Okay, so on security point of view, it will be very easy like to get the username password of that particular user. Okay, so to even we are not creating any resource in case of logging API. Generally, we use post method when we create new resource. But in case of logging, we are retrieving information that user is valid user.
We lost you, Ravi. We're not able to hear you.
He sent a message in group, lost Wi-Fi, joining in 2 minutes. I think we need to wait.
Yeah, hello. Hope I'm audible now.
Yeah.
Actually, I lost my Wi-Fi connection, so I got disconnected. Fine. So we were discussing about this logging API. So that logging API should contain post method. And why we are saying this, it should contain post method, since if we will use get method, we have to pass all the credential, user ID and password in URL. So in security point of view, it will not be a good approach. Okay. So we should use post method. So here inside customer, okay, so we need to create one nested resource, registration, and method will be post. And again, we will have one nested resource for login. That will be post. Okay, it should be plural, but for registration, it should be noun and plural. Registration is not a noun, so let it be. So slash customer will be customers, but inside that we will have two nested resources. Okay, one will be registration and another will be login, and both will have post method. So now if I create one notepad, so for registration and logging process, we will start all the API and everything, registration and login. So first we discuss about XP API. So in XP API, we need two resources. One is slash customers slash registration. Okay. And another one will be slash customers slash login. Okay, or you can put like this only if you don't want to. So inside XP API, we will have resource slash customer, and that will contain slash registration and slash login. Okay, now coming to slash registration one. So what will be method here? Method will be post. And what will be method here? Method will be, sorry. So far, everyone clear with this or not? In XP API, we will create resource customers, and which will contain two nested resources. One is slash registration, another one is slash login. And both will have one method post. Anyone has any doubt? Now, we are doing high level discussion at this moment, okay? We'll go on like field level also. This registration XP API will call, sorry, customer XP API will call customer process API. Okay, scheduler one is not required here at this moment. So this first focus on this one. So whenever someone will call registration XP API or login XP API. That request will go to customer process API. Customer process API. And this process API will again contain this both nested resources. And to make it more readable and more understandable, what I will do, it will be one process API only, but to make it more readable, what I'm doing, I'm splitting into two parts. One for logging and one for registration. This is for slash registration, and this is for slash login. Now this registration process, what all we will do. So first we will call this customer SAPI, okay? And what this customer SAPI will do, it will call this Salesforce system. So what it will do, it will call the Salesforce system. And what Salesforce system we will do, whatever registration detail we have, we will insert that detail inside Salesforce. Okay. First thing we will do this. And at the same time, once this registration will be successful, we will call this from customer here, we will call this notification API. To send one notification to customer, you have successfully registered and this is your user ID and password. So from here, we will call this registration SAPI to send a successful message to customer. You have successfully logged in. Anyone has any doubt so far?
When we going to registration, suppose, then the data will save in database now.
Sorry, I didn't get.
Hello. Actually,
Yes.
when we going to call the API like registration, and that
Yes.
time if we are going to register any new customer, then in that
Yes.
case we need to register, fill all these things like name, first name, last name, age, mobile number, and other details. And this data
Yes.
will store in database or Salesforce.
So here we are going to use Salesforce as a CRM system. Okay. So all the customer related data, all the CRM related data, we will store inside Salesforce.
Okay, okay, got it.
Now this notification API will call this third party API to send email or SMS. Okay. So here we have two ways. Either we can use SMTP server or we can use third party API. So in my project, we are for notification purpose, we are using Salesforce. Okay. Again, we are using Salesforce API, not Salesforce system. We are using Salesforce API to send notification. But in market, we have many SMS service provider. Okay. So once you will explore internet, you will get many third party SMS service provider. So for this learning purpose also, we will create I will tell you one. We will use this. I forgot name. I will tell you. So we will register there. and we will take their trial service. In their trial service, they will give us almost 100 email and SMS. So we will use that one to send notification. Okay. So in registration API, we will have this experience API, which will call this process API. And this process API will call customers API and notifications API, where the customers API will interact with Salesforce and this notifications API will interact with this third-party API. Everyone clear on this part?
2 calls at a time, Ravi, you're saying?
No, not at a time. So this will be sequential call. Once data will be recorded in Salesforce successfully, then it will send notification. Okay, so it will be sequential.
Okay.
Okay. One more thing here. If someone want to call this experience API, okay, so first they need to call this commons API. Okay, what this commons API will do, this will, like here we will create one OAuth service provider. Okay, inside this commons API, we will, that should be again 3 layer. Let me think. Okay, that let's discuss separately. This OAuth part we will discuss separately once our API will be ready. But we need this commons API and this OAuth service provider. That we need this. Now coming to logging part. So in logging part again, if user want to do logging, so they will again call this customers API. Okay, and this customers API will call this Salesforce to get the user detail. Okay, and then once it will be logging successfully, it will call profile API and all. That will be separate discussion. So here we are focused on this only. We don't need database also. So everyone clear on this part, what all API we are going to develop? So XP API part, high level we have mentioned here. So we are going to develop this XP API where we will have resource customer, which will internally contain 2 nested resources. One is registration and one is logging. Same we will have in process API also. So I will create a duplicate of this. It will have customer, which will contain registration and login. But if you go to system API, we will have 2 system API. One /customer, another one is /notifications.
In case of suppose I forgot my password. In case of password, like forgot password, and then in that case, which API we need to call?
At this moment, we are discussing about forgot password. No, then why you are considering that one? Focus on these 3. Focus on registration and login. Forgot about any other functionality.
Okay.
Ravi.
We will discuss about.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. It was my question also similar to his question was.
No, but at this moment we are not discussing. So let's leave that topic for next session. Like when we will start forgot username, password, then we will discuss all those things. At this moment, it might be confusing for other people. So here we will have 2 resources. One is /customer and we will have two SAPI. Okay, so one SAPI will have resource this, and another SAPI will have resource / notification. Okay, now in case of notification, we are sending notification. So it will be again, we are sending notification. We are not creating any resource. Let me think what should be method. We are neither we are retrieving information and neither we are creating resource. Better to use post only. And here we will not have any nested resource. So directly we will put method here. Post method. If anyone has any doubt till this point?
Ravi, Sunny here.
Yes.
Can you please summarize these flows once again?
So at this moment, we are focusing on two functionality. One functionality is registration one and another one is logging. Okay. And let's discuss on first registration functionality. So to achieve the registration functionality, how many API we need to develop? So we will develop one experience API, which will contain resource customers and nested resource as a registration, and which will have post method. So that experience API, that API we will use to expose to external world. Let's say mobile application, this Vio app will call this experience API. This experience API will call this process API. Okay, this same process API. In this process API, what we do? This experience API we use to expose our API to external world. But this process API, what we do? This process API will be used to do all kind of orchestration to apply all the business logic. So what business logic we are doing here? So whatever customer detail we will receive. So that customer detail, first we will call this customer SAPI to insert that customer record inside Salesforce. And then once we will receive success response from that customer SAPI, once it will be successfully inserted in Salesforce, we will send user ID and password to this. Sorry. Yeah, we will pass that user detail like user ID, password, and their name to this notification SAPI. And this notification SAPI will call third-party API to send notification. You have successfully registered. This is your username and this is your password. And this is our link to login. This part clear for you?
Yeah, clear. Thanks.
Now, once customer will be successfully registered, then what will be second task customer will do? He will try to do login. Okay. Now he will receive user ID and password through his message. He will go to his message and he will check that user ID and password. He will go to mobile application, enter the user ID and password and click on submit. Whenever he will click on submit, front-end system will call again our XP API. This time they will call customer XP API with nested resource as a logging and method post. Then they will call this API. We will call our this experience API will call this process API. Okay. And here what we will do, whatever user ID and password will receive, here we don't have much orchestration. Simply we will call this customers API. Okay. And in customers API, we will check that you in Salesforce, we will retrieve the data. Do we have any user with that user ID and password? If yes, then we will return here success response. So once we will receive record from here, that means here we will do business logic. What business logic we will do? We will call this SAPI, which will call Salesforce to check that user ID and password exist or not. If that exist, then this logging API will check that response and it will send either success response or error response to calling system, that is Experience API. If user ID password exists, this process API will send success response. This success response will go to this mobile application and user will go to their profile page.
Ravi, we are using post method, right? When we use post, who will call this experience API that via your application
Yeah, mobile application.
will call the experience API, right?
Yes.
Okay.
For everyone clear with everything what discussion we did? And this particular common common SAPI, BAPI, and XP API, we will use for authorization purpose that I will show you later. Okay. So here we will have class में बाद में कुछ class में बाद में कुछ
Hello, Ravi.
Yes.
Yeah, your laptop battery is about to die.
Okay. Thank you. So this part I will discuss. Okay. So what this API will do? Here we are creating our own OAuth service provider. Okay. So either you can take service from any OAuth service provider, or you can develop your own. Like MuleSoft also provide one connector, which will help you to create your own OAuth service provider. Okay. But many company they take license from different service provider.
OAuth ኮኔክተር አለ የራሱ ማለት ነው።
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So we'll use that connector. Okay. So
Okay.
we will work on this also. This particular API will use when we will apply OAuth policy on our Experience API. So before calling our Experience API, first we need to call this common API, common XP API, which will give us token, and we will use that token to call this registration API or logging API. If we will not pass that token, this API will send with us error message 401 unauthorized. Okay. So this will be our first part of development. Anyone has any doubt? Like coming 3 weeks, we will focus on this part only. So first we will deliver this many API. Then we will go for forgot credential, reset credential, all those API. So that discussion we will do separately. Anyone has any doubt on this part? Let me know.
Hello, Ravi.
Yes.
When we click on this Vivo app, we will directly call a Experience API, or we will call just whatever the system. When you open the app, we will get a one design, right? Means registration.
Yes, correct.
When you click on this registration after the filling details, we will automatically call this Experience API, or any web designer will call that Experience API.
Yeah, no, obviously web designer will call no automatically how this API will be triggered.
Yeah, that one I had a confusion. Means it is not directly accessible to the user, right? For us, means
Yeah,
for
yeah.
example.
Whatever API we are developing, user will not call this API. That API will be called by some system. It can be mobile application, it can be web application. Okay. So user will use this kind of application, mobile application, web application. They will fill their detail and then they will click on submit button. Let's say in case of registration, they will fill their detail. Then they will click on submit button. Then what front end will do, like this mobile application will do, they will collect all the user detail and they will call our API. Okay. And before calling our API, first they will call this common API, which will provide them token, security token. Using that token and using this, using that token and whatever detail they will collect from customer, they will call our experience API. So first, whatever token will come, we will call this API.
No, I'm just asking that we will not directly accessible to this experience APIs, right?
We will means who, like you are pointing to
User. Yeah, we are
user.
app users.
Yeah, viewer app user will not call this API. Inside that app, there will be some programming. Okay, so app developer will do some programming to call this API.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, fine. So actually, whenever request will come, that common XP API will be called again, but how it will be called, I will tell you later on. At this point, it might be difficult or confusing for you. Okay, hope everyone clear on this part. So let's move to next part. So now we will create a structure of all these API, then we will start RAML. Everyone go on mute. If you are not speaking anything, please be on mute. So one another thing we will develop. Common XP API only. What will be plural for common? It will be common only, no? Or it should be commons. I think it should be common only. Now first focus on this one. Registration post method. So in this post method, what are other detail we need? We need input detail, output detail. Okay. So for this registration post method, we have already created input structure. So let me share with you. And then this will be registration XP API. Okay. Resource will be V1, /customers/ or in case of registration, now we can directly use /customer method as a post. Okay, let me do small modification here. In case of registration, directly we can create post method for registration. No need to put any additional endpoint. In case of login, yes, we need. But in case of registration, simply method will be post. This will be login and method will be post. So we are, in case of registration, we are not creating any nested resource. So that modification I am doing here also.
Ravi, it will be good if we keep registration. I mean, it will bring some clarity.
So, but we should not unnecessarily create nested resource also. No? Actually, registration and logging both has post method. So we can't create two post method within customer resource. Okay. So for that purpose, we need /logging one additional nested resource. But for registration, I can't see any problem. We can simply create /customer/. So we are going to create new customer. In case of registration, what we are doing? We are creating new customer. So why we need unnecessary extra nested resource? Okay, we should not keep unnecessary any extra resource also. By post customer, it's very much clear. We are going to create new customer. Okay, so I don't think it's unnecessary. We are creating nested resource. We should not. So resource will be /customer. Method will be post. Now coming to request part. Okay, whenever we are designing any API, we should know resource detail, request part, and response part. Okay, in request part, we have headers. So in earlier class, we discussed what is header. Header contains metadata. Whatever data you will pass here, data will not be used for processing purpose. That will use for some other purpose. Okay, that will support your processing data. So how it's supporting, let's see, this transaction ID. This transaction ID we are not going to use to create any customer. Okay, this transaction ID we will use to track our transaction. Okay, whenever request will start. So we need to track like that particular request is successful or failed. So how we will know from one layer to another layer which transaction we are pointing about which transaction. At the same time, there will be 100 transactions. Okay, that might be possible. 100 customers are doing registration at the same time. Out of 100 customer, if 2 customer has failed during their registration, so how you will identify which 2 customer failed? Okay, as a developer, you need to go through log and you need to identify which customer failed and due to which reason. Okay, there might be possibility they have given invalid mobile number, they have given invalid email ID. So there might be multiple possibility, but we should have something by which we can track each transaction. Okay, so we will use this transaction ID during our log. Okay, to monitor the transaction and to identify the root cause. Okay, no matter it's a successful or error. So this transaction ID is not our actual data or processing data. This is just supporting our transaction. So that's why we kept inside header. Now coming to client ID. Anyone has any query?
Ravi, when we using this transaction ID, is that UUID which will automatically generate it?
Yes, we will use unique ID. So we will use UUID. That we will discuss soon. Okay. Once we will start development of API, then we will discuss.
Sure.
Now coming to client ID, client secret. So these two header, again, it's a metadata only. We are not going to use for processing purpose. This is just for security purpose. Whenever we will develop our experience API, we will enforce client ID policy there, client ID and client secret there. So when you will enforce this client ID policy, you need to pass client ID and client secret. So that detail we will pass here. So again, it's not part of processing data, it's the metadata. That's why we kept inside header. And last one we have authorization header. Okay, second last. This authorization header, we will again use as a metadata for security purpose only. So here we are going to apply two policy on our experience API. One is client ID enforcement, another one is OAuth policy. Okay. So for OAuth policy purpose, we need this client ID and client secret. Sorry, we need this authorization header where we will pass bearer token. And how to generate this bearer token, that we will see later on. And last one we have accept. So this accept policy will tell what kind of data we are going to pass. We are going to pass JSON data, XML data, what kind of data we will pass. So this accept policy will tell us. So if we are going to pass JSON data, so in accept policy, we will configure this application JSON. Okay. So in our header part, so first thing we will have this transaction detail. Then are we going to pass any query parameter? Yes, we are going to pass one query parameter, that is policy number. Okay, so this will help us. Okay, no, not policy number. We are going to pass one policy flag. Okay, so this will help us to identify that customer contains any, like that customer is returning like any existing customer, or that customer is new customer. Okay, let's take a healthcare example, healthcare domain example. So there might be two kind of customer. One customer might be like you have already taken service from that hospital. Okay, and you want to register on their portal to download your like let's say your bill, or to download your medical report. In that case, you will be existing customer, you will have some policy number, or you will have some registration number with that hospital. Okay, so in that case, what you will pass policy flag as a true. Okay, so in that case, what they will do, they will first check your detail in their database. Okay, and they will tag your account with your detail. Okay, since this is not fresh account, you have already your detail with that hospital. So they have to tag all your details with your account. So that's why whenever like frontend will call this API, so first they will identify that like that user is returning user, or that user is new user. Okay, so they will ask you to select one checkbox. Okay, so if you will select that checkbox, then they will pass this as a true. And then while doing your registration of your account, they will tag all your previous details in your account. Okay, and there might be new user. Let's say I want to do my full body test. Okay, and I know this particular hospital is doing this kind of thing. So what I will do, I want to book an appointment. So I will go to their website. I will do registration, and I will fill my details, and then I will check this policy flag as a false. Since I am new, completely fresh customer for them, I don't have any existing details with them. Okay, so I will select this flag as a false. So this kind of thing we are going to use as a like filter condition. So if we are passing any kind of filter condition, then we will pass inside query parameter. Okay. Now coming to body part. So what all details we will pass in request body, we will pass first name, last name, country code, mobile number, email, password, accept, data policy, review. Okay. So this thing everyone know, this is customer detail. Now starting from this one, accept data policy. So here you are accepting their data policy or not. You need to select yes or no. Okay. Then review news. Oh, sorry, receive news. So if you will select this checkbox in front end page, means whatever new information will be there, so they will send you notification. Okay. Through email or SMS, whenever there will be something new, like there will be some news in their domain, like not domain, you can say in their hospital, then they will send you one kind of notification. Accept PIC, yes, I can't recall. Then locale, like which language you will select as your primary language. Then captcha token. So this captcha token, you will get some data, okay, that will be used to verify the token. Okay. Then receive, claim, settle. So this kind of like whatever you can see here, these flags, based on this flag, customer will get different kind of notification and all. Okay. And before that, whatever data we have, this data will be stored. This data will contain customer detail, their name, mobile number, and other thing. Coming to this field rule, you can see here indentation. Okay. So indentation will tell you on which position that this last name will also be one only. So here in example, you can see inside this object, we have first name, last name, this all are child field for this. So all will have indentation 1. Let's say if we have any field, okay, we have any data which contain their child data. So for child data, indentation will be 2. Let's see, do we have any example for this one?
Success response we have.
Let me see. Here you can see this inside this JSON object, this customer state request is first element. So indentation will be 1. Okay. And this all fields are child of this customer request state. Customer state request. All these are child of this. So if these are child of this, then indentation will be 2. This will be 1. This will be 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay. And if let's say this password contain again some child element, then for that indentation will be 3. Okay. So this will help you to identify which position that particular element will exist.
Ravi, haven't got that so much there. So is that a nested object you are saying indentation how it follows? Can you come again?
Let me take any other example to make things more clear.
Ravi, is it mandatory?
No, just to make things more clear, understandable. Okay. You are architect, you created this document. Now developer will work on this. Okay. So you need to create design document in such a way, like everything should be clear by document. It's not like they will keep asking you multiple questions. Okay. So the purpose of creating this indentation to make document more user friendly.
Hi Ravi, your screen is not fit to the screen. I mean, is it for me or everyone?
You can change your view. Like go to view and focus on it.
In the option you can check enter full screen.
So for this one, for name indentation will be 1, for address indentation will be 2. Okay, for city, what will be indentation?
It would be 3.
Oh, it will be 2.
2.
Name and address on same level. This is parent object which contain 2 child element, name and address. Or let's say we have one more, mobile. Okay. So name, address and mobile will have indentation 1, 1, 1. This city, state and country is part of this address. Okay. So for city, state and country, what will be indentation? It will be 2. Is it clear now?
Yes, Ravi. And we have indentation name as 1 and mobile also 1. So
Yes.
Is there any conflict for this? There will be
If both has indentation 1 means you can put mobile here also. Okay, there will not be any problem. You can put mobile, name and address. All 3 will be child element of this object. Now position wise, it's up to you where you want to put.
Okay, then now the city will be 3, right? Indentation
Why
will
it will be
right?
3?
Like
Why
mobile is 1. Okay, yeah, got it.
Okay, fine. This is just to make this document more user friendly. Okay. So actually this practice we followed when I worked for Accenture. Okay. When we used to get this functional design documentation, they used to provide us in this indentation also, which helping us to identify the exact position of that particular element. Okay. So whenever I used to on any kind of document, I used to provide this detail since this looks helpful. If I will not provide this first name, last name, let's say I'm creating this document and I have country now. Okay. I want to put address. For address, I will put this is object. For city, state and country, I will put this is a string object, a string field. But if I will not put indentation, then like after address, they will put city, state and country on same level. But if I provide indentation, they will able to know, okay, address is or on indentation 2, and these 3 are indentation 3 means these 3 are child of this address. So that will help to identify. Okay, fine. Now coming to this mandatory field, this will tell you if mandatory is Y, you must need to insert this particular field, and this is data type. So this will be string. So what will be data type for this particular element? So if they will not pass this value, then by default, okay, otherwise, no, this should be yes only. they must need to select that checkbox, otherwise they will not able to proceed.
Ravi, receive news means like newsletter, you say. Is that
Yes,
an
yes,
active?
correct. Yes,
That
that
is
will be
there.
checkbox. That will
Yes.
be checkbox. Okay, in checkbox, like generally front end used to keep some kind of restriction. If you will not select that checkbox, you will not able to click on submit button, or submit button will not be visible. So in request, we have this many field, and then this is the sample payload for request. And these all fields are response, customer response, which will contain event instance ID and then status. So you can see here, customer response is child of this particular object. So indentation will be 1. And these all are child of this customer response. So for this and this status indentation will be 2. Okay.
Ravi, receive news type should be Boolean, right? True or false?
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
So this is all about this experience API. Same way, we need to provide detail for all API. And this is like non-functional requirement, like frequency, data size. Data size should be very less. 1 KB should be good enough. Daily volume. So how many times this API will be called? Let's say 20 TPS. So 20 concurrent user will call this API. Hours of operation, this will be 24 hour. Like this API will be active for 24 hour.
Ravi, what is
Okay, and
TPS?
TPS means how many transaction per second this API can
Per
handle.
transactions. Okay.
Okay. So 20 TPS means in 1 second, this API will able to handle 20 transactions. Okay, so first second 20 transactions, second 20 transactions. So every second, this API will able to take new 20 requests.
I mean, it's a general, or I mean, in project also it's like this only, 20.
No, I'm just giving you random value. So your business
Okay.
may have different expectation. Based on this expectation, you need to decide how many vCores you need.
Okay, so the vCores developer decide, or architect level someone decide, right?
Yeah, it should be decided by architect level also, but later on, once development will be started, then like you will have some observation. Okay, this vCode is not enough to like enough for this API. Then yeah, you can suggest architect we need more vCode. You can do some further discussion.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure, like guest wise, it's difficult to accept anyone. Okay, let me check with him first. Who is this? Don't know. Many people still join as a guest, so soon I will not allow anyone. Like soon I'm going to change this meeting link, so I will not allow anyone as a guest. You can see many people. Pavani. So Pavani, why you are? I think you joined very at the very starting only. You haven't received your this team ID. For everyone, like if you haven't received Team ID, please contact with me, collect your Microsoft Team ID. As I mentioned multiple times, I will not allow anyone to join as a guest. And from next day onward, I will change this meeting ID. So if you will not collect your meeting ID, like that Microsoft Team detail, you will not able to join. So that will be your responsibility. Okay, fine. So this will be non-functional requirement. So here we have provided. Okay, this might change. Okay, once you will start like PT and all, performance testing and all, this value might change a bit. But yeah, based on your experience, you need to provide this value, or architect will provide this value. Any query till this point? So we have completed discussion of this part.
Ravi, one question.
Okay.
The processing mode.
Which one?
Processing mode. Real and near real time means what?
Okay, real time means it will be like what I can say.
Yeah, online.
Yeah, means immediately.
What
Yeah,
is
it
near
will be
real?
complete. Near real time will be like you are fetching data from this cache and all. Okay. That will not be exactly real time. That will be a bit like let's say you have cache for 5 minutes. So till that 5 minutes, you can't say that is complete real time. Okay, once that cache will be expired, new data will be retrieved, then again it will be real time, and after 1 minute it will be near real time.
Okay, so what cases
If you
do we use that one? Any real time scenario?
wherever your API is cached.
Okay. So mainly
that,
we do not use it, but sometimes we may use.
yeah, sometimes we do use like it's not sometime also frequently we use this caching and all. So there might be some API where your response will not change very frequently.
Like
Okay.
OAuth the token to get it.
Yeah, token is one, and other cases are there. Let's say you are retrieving customer profile detail. Customer profile detail will not change very frequently. Okay, let's say they are changing their let's say they are changing their mobile number. Okay, and you are calling their customer profile API, and you have cached their data for 10 minutes. So 10 minutes they will not able to see their new mobile number. After 10 minutes they will able to see their new mobile number. So if you are developing such kind of API, so whenever their customer is changing their mobile number, front end will display one pop-up message whenever they will change their mobile number. Your new mobile number will be reflected within 10 minutes or within 24 hours. Okay. And once their cache data will be erased, and once it will fetch new data from actual system, then they will able to see their new mobile number.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so we are done with the discussion of this API. So what all input, output, everything we are clear. This will be exactly same to this one. Okay, structure and everything will be same except one thing, that will be OAuth token, authorization token. So authorization token we need only for customer experience API. We will not use authorization token for process API. Okay. So whatever data we are getting here, all data we will bypass to process layer. Okay. So structure and everything will be same in this process API. So what I will do, I will copy entire detail. Customer PAPI app V1, registration, PAPI, and this we don't need. Other detail will be as it is. Okay. SLA of experience API will be it should be bit more than this process API. Okay. So let's say process API we are taking 3 seconds. So from process to experience API it will take millisecond. Okay. We can keep saying. Okay. Oh, let's take it 5 seconds for this. And we'll test this API and we'll see how is the performance. For process and system experience API, we kept 5 seconds. But for system API, it will take lesser. So we will put 3 seconds for system API. Okay, now coming to customer system API. So this part also we are done. Then anyway, we can highlight this. Okay, we can do this only. So this two on this one is done. Now for this one. So this one, like whatever data we will receive in customer process API, same data we will pass to system API and that data will be captured in Salesforce. So for this system API, we need same set of data, but for this system API, we need different set of data. So for this one, for registration, in case of registration, for customer resource post registration or registration we removed. For method post, whatever data is coming from experience to process, process to system, so same data will come. So again, I can do copy paste. And there might be different scenario. Sometime it may be like you need same set of data in all 3 layers. Sometime based on the layer, this data will change. Okay.
Ravi, I have a question. Can I?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So if same set of data and then there is no like a transformation required in the process API, then why don't we skip that one? Experience API to directly system API.
But if you remember, we are doing some kind of orchestration. So here in this process API, first we are calling this system API. Whatever data we are getting, we are passing here. And once we will get success response in process API, then we will call this notification API. Correct?
Okay. Okay.
So we have to do orchestration. So process API not only for transformation purpose. It do transformation, we do apply all the business logic, we do all kind of orchestration in process API.
Okay. If we have like multiple connectivity with another systems, then we must go for process API.
Yeah. That is one thing. And second thing, there might be possibility you want to use same process API in other places also. You can't use customer API. Okay. If you want to make your process API reusable, let's say this API want this same functionality. Okay. So you can't call this experience API in this process API. Okay. If there will be any change in this experience, then you need to update your process API also. But if you will have this process API, if you are using here, in future, if there will be any change here, this API will not be impacted. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So that is the purpose of creating this 3-layer architecture to make component more reusable.
Yeah, right.
So like we have this customer XP, customer PAPI, and customer SAPI. Okay. So in this three, we have one resource at this moment, registration XP. Then we have registration PAPI, and then we have this registration SAPI. Okay. So first we will focus on this and this. What is this? Let me delete all this. Customer mobile. So first we will focus on these three. And let me update table of content also. At this moment, we have customer XP, customer SAPI, and customer SAPI and customer SAPI. Each will contain one resource at this moment. So now we will start working on RAML of all these three first. We will, okay, one more thing. In SAPI, for registration functionality, we need one more SAPI. That will be our notification SAPI. Okay, so for this also we need to create RAML. Okay, so for notification SAPI, it will be different structure. Everything will be different. But still, first I will do copy paste and then we will do all the modification. First, let me do copy paste. And this will be registration SAPI. This will be similar inside this only. Four point 1.1, 4.1.2 integration frequency. Let me put inside this only. It should not be next level. Anyone good in Microsoft? How it will come on the first? Don't know why it's going to this place.
Ravi, use grid lines. Try to use grid lines. No?
Grid line. Where it is?
You can go into view option, I think.
Okay, 1 minute. Now it's coming. I think proper place only. 4 point API resource request. Okay, so what you are saying, I will select this, then where I need to go?
You can check it under view, I think. Try to check it under view. You'll find an option called grid lines.
Yeah, it's here.
I just on it.
Selecting this, then it is going.
Ravi, can you just right click on those on the step 4.1.2 on the left hand side in the headings one?
Okay, this one.
Yeah, can you see there in the promote kind of thing? Yeah, promote or demote. This one you can do.
Oh, okay.
It will make this.
Again, it's going here. Working, but I don't know. Okay, formatting. Hope everyone getting it. Should be from here, but I don't know which is why it's going there. But this is on proper place here. That should be okay.
Yeah, Ravi, try to go in layout. In layout, you'll find an option called align. Under align, you can see view grid lines.
Layout.
Layout and align. And last option to the right. Under align, you'll see view grid lines. Pause. Pause. Yeah, display alignment guides. You have to see the grid lines. If you can move the grid lines from. Can you close that pop-up there? Yeah, get genuine office. Still, I don't see any grid lines.
C4. Registration XP API, everything is fine. 4.1, yeah, this one is fine. API resource, request, response. This MIME type for what? Response, it should be part of, okay, here also we have some issue. Fine, so only in this part we have this one. This, for this, okay, might work. Response, then this should be same level. Almost correct only, so let it be. Will not waste much time here. So I need this similar structure 3 times. One for process API and 2 for system API. So this will be for customer PAPI. Are going to write. That should be okay. I will do it later on whenever I will have free time. So here in process API, registration PAPI, then authorization header is not required for process API, as I mentioned. Auth policy will apply only for experience API. Other thing will be as it is. Coming to this SAPI, something wrong. Station SAPI. Authorization header is not required. Other things will be as it is. This will be 3 seconds. Now coming to another SAPI, okay. So that another SAPI will have notification SAPI. So we don't need. Okay, this will be again different one only. So this will be notification SAPI. Notification, I think we can put inside common API only. I don't think it's good to create another SAPI. Common should be okay. Let's put in common SAPI. Inside that, we will create notification. All the common services like send notification, send email, send SMS, auth, everything we can put inside common API.
And also, are we raising any snow incident tickets?
So actually, what is this?
Snow incident tickets if we have any errors to raise a ticket. Snow incident ticket. Service now.
ServiceNow ticket, you are saying if there will be any defect, or like a defect, testing team will raise that defect, or you want to say you want to automate the process. If there will be any issue, then one ticket like email will be.
Yes, like
That,
email will be sent, right? Yeah.
yeah, that we will handle during this error handling part. At this moment, we are discussing about tip flow.
Okay.
So for that purpose, we will use SMTP server.
Okay.
Transaction ID, client secret we want. Authorization again we don't want. So do we need any query parameter for this? No. So we will not. So for this notification API, we don't need any query parameter. We need body, yes, body we need. So in notification, what all things we need to pass in body? We need to pass like mobile number. First thing we need to pass mobile number where we want to send notification. Then we need to pass name. We can pass instead of first name and last name, we will pass only name. Then we need to pass username and password. Okay. Since through notification, we are going to send username password to customer. So same username password we need to pass as a input of this system API. Need only this 4 detail. Which mobile number we want to send notification, for which user, what is username, what is password. Other things we don't need, so let me delete this. Hope everyone clear for this API. Notification API will be used to send notification once customer will successfully registered. Delete. So we'll have only four data to pass this system API. Mobile number, name, username, password. So instead of first name, last name, we will pass inside name. We need only mobile number, which will contain country code also. Then we need password, and then we need username.
Ravi, sorry to interrupt. I mean, it's not
Yes.
related to this, but yes, I mean the single sign-on concept works like this only. I mean,
SSO is different thing. In SSO, like you don't need to provide your user ID and password.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That login is
Let's say you are SSO enable, then you will just open that website. It will auto sign in you on that
yeah,
website.
yeah.
That is different things. This is different.
So like we can, I mean, we can implement through MuleSoft that, or that is
SSO
some
is
other
another
thing.
service provider. SSO is some other like you need to take from Microsoft, Azure. There are many SSO service providers out there. MuleSoft is not SSO service provider.
Oh, okay.
If you will take SSO service, then your MuleSoft Anypoint platform will be auto login. Okay, that you can do using SSO if you will enable SSO.
Okay. On
Generally,
top
like
of
let's say you are working for any organization. Let's say you are working for ABC company. So you will do login in their out office.com. Okay. And if you have taken their SSO service, then all the account which is associated with that email ID, that company email ID, what you are using, all the account will be auto logged in. You don't need to go there and you need to log in. So just you will click on that portal. It will ask you to authenticate through SSO. You will authenticate and it will be logged in. Is it clear?
yeah, okay. Thank you.
So this part is good.
Ravi, what are other common we using this one? Common, like sending notification other than that?
Other than that, we will have this OAuth service here, OAuth service provider that is also common API. We will use multiple places. Then send emails. API will be there that will be also used many places. So all those things we will put inside common service, common API. All the customer related API we will put here in customer XP API. If we will have payment related API, we will put inside payment XP API. But this notification, as send SMS, send emails, OAuth API, that will be used in customer also and payment also. Okay, so we will create one common service. There we will put all those. Is it clear?
But we will call only whatever required, right? Suppose in common you are going to develop four different like OAuth or SMS. We'll use only
Yes.
whatever in that particular.
Yes, we will use only whatever we require. Okay, fine. So hope everyone clear on this part. So let's take a 15-minute break and then we'll start Raman. Okay. So whatever requirement we captured in term, like it's not requirement, it's the next step of requirement. This is our API design. What all API we are going to develop. So we have created a structure. Now we will follow this structure to create our Raman. Okay, fine. So let's have 15-minute break and then we'll start.